What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I'm joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, how you doing? And welcome to the offseason.
We've been waiting for this since June.
Wow, that's tough, man.
No,
That's
but seriously, congratulations to the Texas Rangers on an incredible year. They deserve it. Good for them. They did things right. But it's time. It's time to get our hopes back up and see if we can be the ones holding the World Series trophy at the end of next year. So
Andrew Heaney getting a World Series ring. I think it's his first. Trying to remember
yes,
where it was, right?
yeah, Dodgers. No,
Yeah. So sweet. Hey, good job, Andrew Heaney. Congratulations there on that side of stuff. So, and congratulations to the Rangers. I mean, is there before we get going? I know we have some offseason stuff we want to talk about. No news, no breaking news, no anything like that. We were hoping a manager was going to be named this weekend. It doesn't seem like that's there yet. But anything to take away from this postseason? I know I asked it on the last podcast. We did like a couple weeks ago. But you got anything after the World Series? I mean, pitching reigns supreme like always.
yep. You see the start. I think starting pitching was huge for Texas. They had some guys who stepped up. You saw that Nathan Eovaldi is one of the best postseason pitchers in the last 10 years. Him and Madison Bumgarner are the two names that kind of get brought up a lot. And I mean, you see how important it is to have veteran leadership like that. And I think that was kind of a big thing for Texas, that they had a advantage over most teams they played. The only team they didn't really have the advantage over was Houston, but Baltimore, even Tampa Bay with the young guys, like veteran leadership was huge. Corey Seager, Simeon, like they've been there before. And then you mix in a little bit of young guys and it was big. So the veteran leadership is huge. The other thing, they play defense, which is one thing the Angels did not do this year. Pitching and defense is still the way to win, and I think that's something that stands out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I said it, pitching reigns supreme as always. I mean, pitching, timely hitting, just two things didn't seem like the Angels did a lot of last year. So with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching this podcast. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Play along with us today as well. Leave some comments down below on our questions that we're going to ask here. Stay tuned. I'm not going to say any names. Stay tuned in the next couple days and weeks. We're going to have some fun guests coming on the show. That's for sure. It is a lot of fun. Yeah, fun times for sure. So I'm excited to bring on all those guests, players, former players, managers, all that side of stuff. Former managers, because there's actually not a manager yet, but former managers, and some guys like that. So yeah, it's always a fun time. I enjoy doing these interviews, Nate. I know you do too. So stick with it. Hit that subscribe button. Get that little, what is it, a bell? Do they use bells on YouTube?
Yeah,
I think
ring that bell.
Ring the bell for us, so when we post these and see who's jumping on to talk some Angels baseball with us. So go ahead and follow us on all our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can follow myself on, let's just call it X. I'm going to just do that from now on, X, because that's what it is. It is. You can follow us on X at Talking Halos. You can follow myself on X at Jared_Timms, Nate at NateGreen34. Let's get it rolling. Let's have a little fun here. And those watching on YouTube can have some fun with us. I said it before the show, I wanted us to come with an infielder, an outfielder, a starting pitcher, and a reliever that you think the Angels are going to sign. Not that you want the Angels to sign. All right. We'll get to that in probably in a
next
couple episodes. Yeah. We'll get to that in the next little while for sure, who you want the Angels to sign. But let's go with who you think the Angels are going to sign. And we can start with our infielder. Nate, go ahead.
I think IKF is the guy. Isaiah Kiner Falefa. Yeah. Brings versatility, checks a box. Pretty good defender, checks another box. And not a great hitter, checks another box. I mean, I think that checks all the boxes. I know, and can play shortstop and doesn't hit that well either. So, okay, yeah, checks all the boxes. I think Isaiah Kiner Falefa is an Angel. Makes a lot of sense.
Minor league deal?
No, Brett Phillips, major league deal.
Okay. I went a little bit better than your Isaiah Kiner Falefa, though I do like that.
Dude's a great defender. Come on.
No, yeah, no, that's fine. And the Angels do need another Andrew Velasquez. I'd prefer to see
He's
it on a
better.
minor league deal. I'd prefer to see it on a minor league deal. I'll say that. But I'm never upset about getting a defensive first middle infield guy.
He could play third too when Rendon's out for his 80 games.
We'll get to third
I'm
base.
just throwing shots tonight.
I know.
Sorry, it's been a while.
Come on, man. It's the off season. We're supposed to have fun. We're not throwing shots anymore. Stay positive here. No more negative Nate on me here. So, my infielder, I'm gonna go at second base. I don't know why. Second base came to mind. I know the Angels have Brandon Drury. I know they have Luis Renifo, David Fletcher of other guys as well. But the first name for me that came to mind was a second baseman. That was Adam Frazier. I don't know why. I really don't, but it was just a name that popped right into my head. I was like, Adam Frazier seems like
Checks all the boxes.
Yeah, he checks all the boxes.
No home run power.
I would, yeah, somebody who doesn't strike out a lot, doesn't walk a lot, hits. In the past, he has hit a lot. Was a very good hitter with Pittsburgh. Had his time with the Mariners as well. Played with Baltimore last year. You're gonna see a theme here with Baltimore, by the way. For some strange reason, I love Baltimore Orioles. In this set of stuff, but yeah, Adam Frazier for some strange reasons checks all the boxes in my books, and I've always wanted to see Adam Frazier in an Angels uniform, and that for me just makes a lot of sense. Somebody who can play second base. You might see, if the Angels move this route with it, a trade of Brandon Drury, a trade of Luis Renifo this offseason. I don't know which way the Angels are going to go this offseason. I'm going to say they're probably going to do what they've done in the past and say that they're going to win, go out and try to make some reasonable signings. But for me, Adam Frazier on some type of minor league deal, I'm all for it. Gives you some good depth at second base and up the middle. That's who it is for me. So outfield, I'll go next. This is kind of a cheat answer for me because another player I've always wanted the Angels to sign, but just hasn't been there. Former Los Angeles Dodger, Boston Red Sox, Kike Hernandez plays all over the place. Someone who's extremely versatile. I know I put him in the outfield. We could probably put him at utility, but with how injury prone the Angels have been, somebody like this, very, very valuable for the Angels. Can play a little third base if you need him to, can play up the middle. We saw him in center field. I don't put it past him to be able to catch. And then also for me, what he brings to the clubhouse. I mean, you saw right when he got back to the Dodgers, what he did, like all of a sudden, just social media, Kike Hernandez, just loving Los Angeles. I think he finds a way to become a Dodger again, but I would love to see the Angels go out and sign a good clubhouse guy like this that's versatile and can play all over the place. So again, checks all the boxes for me.
So I went back and forth on this. I really wanted to say Teoscar Hernandez, but there's another guy that I've liked for a while. Yeah, this kind of goes under the like instead of think, but Harrison Bader. I think the Angels look at a guy who says, hey, he could play center field if Trout needs to move. He could play the corners. If Trout goes down, there's a lot of versatility in the outfield. He can play all three positions. He's got speed, puts the ball in play. A little bit of pop, not a lot. So yeah, Bader's that guy that I think I went back and forth between Teoscar and him because I think the Angels could use a corner guy, but who knows? Maybe they go the route of moving Trout to a corner, depending on who the new manager is, and Bader plays center.
Good defender.
It just gives him a lot of different. Yeah, really good defender. Plus defender.
Yeah, and we already mentioned that Angels need
plus defender is a big deal for us.
Yeah, big thing there for me. On that side of stuff. So you went defense. What do you got on the starting pitching side of stuff? Heads up, I put 2 because I gave the guy that I wanted, but I also think that the Angels will be in on this guy. I know nothing's been said about him, but I also gave another guy that I think that the Angels are actually going to end up signing. So go ahead.
So do I get to give 2 as well?
You can give 2 if you want. Okay. Starting pitching's, I mean,
so my first one is Carlos Carrasco. Just feels like an Angel signing. Let's give him $18 million 1 year and hope he pitches well. Come on, we always overpay 18? For starting pitching. Yeah, come on, don't give me that. We always overpay for starting pitching. We just have to give him way more than he's supposed to. Right. 37 years old, past his prime. No, I don't know how much they give him. Hopefully, if they get him, it's like that 10 mil deal. But yeah, just screams Angels guy right now. The other guy who I kind of want, I think possibly a minor league deal, actually. Maybe. Depends on some things. But Eric Lauer from Milwaukee. I think big strikeout guy, left-handed pitcher, makes sense. All the lefties in the rotation typically can throw out of the pen, can start. I think he makes a lot of sense. This is more on the want side because I think he makes a lot of sense. Won't cost that much. And if you can get him on a minor league deal, that would be the greatest thing ever because I think you need 2 starting pitchers with actual major league experience on minor league deals every year. And if he could do that, oh my gosh, that would change the outlook on the depth of the rotation a lot.
Yeah, and don't forget one of the guys that we wanted to see on a minor league deal this year, last year, if that makes sense, was your guy who got traded from the Cardinals. I can't think of his name right now. Flaherty, Jack Flaherty. Wow. Thought that he was going to get you. We thought last year he'd get a minor league deal this year because of how he pitched. Obviously, that's not going to happen anymore.
Oh yeah, now he's gonna
he's going to get a major league deal. But that was one of those guys where it's like if he continues to pitch this way, like get him on some type of minor league deal or short term. So yeah, I'm all for it. We're gonna that's what we're gonna preach all off season. I'll let everybody know that is watching this. We're gonna preach that minor league deals that have experience. So my number one guy that I think the Angels first off need to be in on, and second off, I think they're going to be in on him is Aaron Nola. I'm going to preach this name all off season. I think this is a step in the right direction, especially I think this is a step in the right direction. If you think you're going to compete anytime soon, you start building up the starting rotation. You're probably going to lose a guy like Shohei Ohtani. In all honesty, I'm sure we'll get to Shohei Ohtani talk at some point.
Of course.
But you're going to need somebody to replace Shohei Ohtani. But also, if you get Aaron Nola early, if you somehow find a way to get a deal with him, going out and getting Shohei Ohtani isn't a horrible option as well. So,
and you would expect Nola to be like the 4th most sought after free agent starting pitcher. Like you're thinking Ohtani counts as 1, right? And then the Japanese guy, what's his name? He just got posted today. I'm blanking on his name. And then you're looking at the next guy. It could be Nola, could be Snell. Marcus Stroman's thrown in that conversation. So yeah, Nola could be like the 4th most sought after guy in free agency, and that could be huge for a team like the Angels. That's like, yeah, we want to be in the sweepstakes for Ohtani, but we're not going to get Snell. We're not going to get Stroman. So maybe we try and sneak in and get Nola while people are still trying to worry about Snell and other guys. So
yeah. So we're probably gonna preach Aaron Nola all off season until he gets signed or until he's an Angel. And then my other guy just makes a lot of sense because the Angels love to stack up like the 4 or 5 starters. It's Kyle Gibson. Actually more of a reliable starter. You haven't seen a lot of injuries from him in the past. Somebody who's going to throw up innings for you. And with the Angels probably going to a 5-man rotation, you're going to need somebody in a rotation that has never pitched more than 150 innings. When you look at it, that's going to be a huge thing that we're going to be talking about because Patrick Sandoval and Reed Detmers and Tyler Anderson, all those guys don't throw a lot more than 150 innings. So you're going to need somebody that's going to be eating up a lot of innings. Chase Silseth, another guy as well, who hasn't thrown a lot of innings. So if you're going to a 5-man rotation, that's going to kind of need to be the way you go with things. And I think Kyle Gibson kind of fits that mold in my opinion. And he's not a horrible pitcher anymore. Getting a little bit old, but if you get him, and you're going to hate this, if you get him for Tyler Anderson money, not deal, you get him for Tyler Anderson money, it's not bad. Like you're in the vicinity there. I don't know if he gets that. I would assume he gets something very similar to that.
110.
1 for 10. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So, and then on
Yamamoto's the guy, by the way, who is getting posted. Yeah, and he'll be posted today, and they'll have their 30 days to sign him.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of money. So
Yankees, Mets, Dodgers.
Angels will be in on him too. I'll say that right now. Angels will be in on him. So reliever, go ahead, rattle it off for me, and then we'll get to our last topic here. What do you want for reliever?
Okay, I think a lot of Angel fans liked Ronaldo Lopez. So I'm going to go a different direction. Similar. Jorge Lopez. Jorge Lopez pitched with Minnesota, pitched with Miami, also pitched with Baltimore a couple years back. I think he's a guy who could be good. I'm not big on paying relievers unless they're bona fide closers like Josh Hader. I don't think the Angels need Josh Hader. They're not a Josh Hader away, so that's not a guy that I think the Angels should go get. But Jorge Lopez could get a small deal just because he struggled with the Twins, got traded to Miami, struggled with Miami. They ended up, I believe, DFAing him. He elected free agency, signed with Baltimore. He's a free agent again. Baltimore could re-sign him because he did have success in Baltimore, but he would make a lot of sense for the Angels. Could be a 1 year, $1.5, $2 million deal. Like those kind of deals are awesome. Like you can only get your money's worth when you're making those kind of deals. When you're signing the Aaron Loops and the Ryan Taperas to $7.5, $8 million, like you're not making your money unless the dude is lights out. And as we talk about on the show all the time, bullpen pitching is volatile. You really don't know what you're going to get from year to year. You might get one guy who is lights out, and then the next year can't throw strikes. So I'm not big on paying relievers unless it's a bona fide closer. So I think Jorge Lopez is a good idea.
I agree with you. And I think, again, this offseason, if the Angels go that route of signing relievers, which I don't think they will, because they're 0 for 8 trying to sign. I mean, you can say Estevez, they're okay with Estevez. He didn't pitch well in the second half, but he was better than Aaron Loop. He's better than Ryan Tepera. Matt Moore
Iglesias would go in there because they traded him early.
Yeah.
They have not been great when it comes to signing
relief
pitchers.
Yeah. So I'm with you on that. I'm not a fan of building a bullpen by signing big contracts unless you're in a spot to do that, and the Angels aren't in a spot to do that yet. So I'm going to go with Shintaro Fujinami. That's my guy right there. You can see the Baltimore Oriole trend, but there, by the way, on that side of stuff, the flamethrower. And I think, and I hope this doesn't come off wrong, the Angels are going to need to replace the Shohei Ohtani market, and they're going to have to bring in another pitcher of that ethnicity, or another player of that ethnicity to try to replace that market, because that market is extremely valuable in today's game. You saw what Shohei Ohtani has done for that market in the international side of stuff. You're going to see what Yamamoto is going to get and what he's going to do to the international market. And you saw how the World Baseball Classic, took that market by storm. So the Angels are gonna, I think they're gonna probably try to sign an Asian pitcher, an Asian hitter, something along the lines of that to to kind of keep that market. It wouldn't surprise me by any means if that was the route they kind of went to, again, keep that market intact.
To be fair, the Angels haven't only had Shohei Ohtani, right? Like,
I mean, they've done it with Hideki Matsui.
They've
done it before in the past.
Shigetoshi Hasegawa. Like they've had guys in the past who have been. So that is like kind of a trend. The Angels seem to have someone on their roster from Japan every year.
I got another name, Hisanori Takahashi, by the way, as well.
Yes, lefty.
G-Man Choi, just to continue to throw out names there.
Yeah. No, so, that I just kind of wanted to make that a point. Like, I do like Fujinami because of what you said with the starting pitching. We haven't had a lot of guys throw a lot of innings. And Fujinami was a starter coming over, struggled, moved him to the pen. So he could be a multi-inning reliever, not necessarily a 3 or 4 inning guy, but maybe a 2 inning guy, and could even pitch the back end of the bullpen. Like he was kind of good for Baltimore in the 7th inning. So like if he comes over to the Angels on a cheaper deal, pitches in that 7th inning, like that could be really fun.
Yep. And again, guys, if you're playing along, it's not who you want the Angels to sign, it's who you think the Angels are going to sign. So that's why we gave kind of these random players, not the best player at every position. So last order of business, last question here for you before we let everybody go. Give me one player that you think the Angels are going to trade this offseason that might be a surprise.
Yep. Makes absolutely no sense. Patrick Sandoval's the guy for me. It really doesn't make sense, like you lose Shohei Ohtani. Your starting pitching right now is Canning, Sandoval, Detmers, Silseth, Anderson. Like that's your 5. That's not good enough to go win a division. That's not good enough to go make a playoff spot. That needs a lot of work. It needs an ace. Probably needs another veteran starter who could be upside 2 type of pitcher. But I think Patrick Sandoval makes a lot of sense. He's getting close to free agency. Still has, I believe, 2 years, and I just haven't seen the growth that you would like to see out of him. I think you see a lot of attitude and not enough mental toughness out of him. So I think it would be awesome to see him traded for a young position player that is ready right now. I'm pushing the Nolan Gorman for Patrick Sandoval trade with Jared. Doubt it's going to happen, but I'm pushing it very, very hard because I think it makes a lot of sense. Like the Angels could use a young second baseman with some pop, could really solidify the middle infield. I know Rengifo's played okay, but Rengifo's kind of only played okay when the Angels are out of it. He hasn't really played good when the Angels are in it. St. Louis is desperate for starting pitching, desperate, and they have a surplus of young, controllable hitters, and that's what the Angels need. They need some young, controllable hitters because they don't really have any in the minor leagues, and I don't really think they really don't have too much in the minor leagues when it comes to like top prospects that are close to being ready. So Nolan Gorman for me would make sense. Patrick Sandoval, and who knows, maybe they throw another guy in there and get a guy like Carlson or something like that. But we'll see.
I'll throw another trade partner your way for an Angels starter, and that's going to be the Cincinnati Reds. And
Of course,
we'll leave it at that.
Baltimore's the third team as well. So
yeah. So my random player that I think might get traded this offseason is going to be Taylor Ward. I don't know why the Angels need outfielders. Actually, now that you're looking at it, that just means the Angels are going to need outfielders even more. But Taylor Ward, again, very similar to the Patrick Sandoval side of stuff, where it's almost like a change of scenery might be a good thing for Taylor Ward. Was injured a lot last year as well, so that doesn't help things out. But when Taylor Ward is on, we saw it, and he was very good. One of the best players in baseball when he was able to make those swing changes and make adjustments like he did. Now, are you expecting him to be the best player in baseball? And is this the right time to trade him? Probably not. But that's why we're saying the most surprising players that could be traded. And for me, I think it's Taylor Ward. I don't know why, but that name popped into my head. There are other candidates. We already mentioned it. Mickey Moniak's a name that's like, whoa, like he had a lot of experience or a lot of time left until he is a free agent. But is his value going to get any higher?
Could be so high.
Yeah, a guy like Luis Renifo, we've talked about Brandon Drury,
Carlos Estevez.
Angels don't have
there's a lot of guys who could get moved, and this offseason is going to be
Tyler Anderson.
Of course. This offseason is really going to be Shohei Ohtani. If Shohei Ohtani leaves, then you might want to reshuffle the deck and be like, hey, we aren't Shohei Ohtani changes this entire team, because you add him in there and all of a sudden you have like a legitimate 2 or 3 hitter who's going to drive in runs. When he's healthy, he's going to be a top of the rotation guy if he's healthy. So like we're not going to have that if we don't get him. So maybe you just reshuffle the deck and say, let's try and win in 2026. Let's try and be competitive in 2024, 2025, and win in 2026, or maybe it's 2025 that you're good. Who knows? But that's kind of what I think is very, very possible, especially when you have like Shanuel, who's just finished his rookie year, kind of. You have Neto, who just finished his rookie year, kind of. You have Ohapi, who just finished his rookie year, kind of. So you're really, really young. You have Silseth. Detmers is only 2 years in, and then Rendon's contract is 3 years out. So that would be that 3rd year away. So a lot of things that are going to depend on Shohei Ohtani, I think, and depending on what he decides to do. If he decides to move on, then the Angels probably have to go in a different direction. If he returns, then throw the money out the window and go get everything you possibly can to go win, because that's going to be what you got to do. You got to build a winning team quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for playing along, listening, and watching this podcast. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you have not already on YouTube. Go ahead and follow us on all our social medias, X, Instagram, and Facebook. You can follow myself on X at Jared_Tims, Nate at NateGreen34. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.